Well, that is basically the one of the most important things, because if a product is not usable and intuitive, then basically it will fail by default.
Why will it fail?
Because the user can't really uh, find a way around the program or site. Well, if a user can't find some features, well, the program is a failure. Uh, basically you gotta max all these aspects out, but for example, ads. Well, as I'm developing some sites lately, we don't use ads at all because it's a huge improvement on actually how the user perceives the site, and they like it better when there are no ads. Well, of course, security and privacy is, well, you can't skip on that. It must be always on high level. Well, if the site has many visitors, it sure helps to pay up some of the maintenance costs. But if the project is something small, it's better not to use them at all.
Why?
Why? Well, the income from those ads can be so big that you could actually gain something from that, and that's why the user will decide better if there are no ads. Because, well, you must agree that it's pointless to put ads on a site which gets only 10 users per day. Well, definitely some of them, and lately also there's a lot of actual articles on the net dealing with these actually themes, and well, the knowledge base is good lately, but some years ago, well, the situation was pretty bad.
How so?
Oh, well, maybe the community wasn't actually so developed, and they didn't think about these things. But now it's, well, every site where you can read IT articles deals with these problems now.
So I think feedback is very important.
Oh, sure. Feedback is the most important of the things, and because of that, also, when you make a product, you must always somehow program some hidden feedback features where you get even things the user does, or somehow errors that happen.
That are sent to the developer.
Basically, yes.
Don't you think it's an issue of privacy for users?
Not really if you don't save any sensitive information. Well, even if you don't save the IP and mask it somehow, so you can't even yourself find out.
I see. Do you have some maybe other advice, maybe some major thing that should be changed in interaction design?
Major thing to change? I guess not, but well, every developer should read a bit on these themes and study more. Well, but that's basically the same thing when the TV came up. Everybody thought that radio would die. Well, it didn't happen.
And why do you think it is so?
Because everybody can predict something, but in the end, it's the user that use something or don't.
So, do you maybe have some predictions about the future of interactions? So, maybe some new technologies we could look up to?
Well, basically, I think that in the near future, mostly some technologies like touchscreens or somehow like the Xbox Kinect will come up, or
Motion capture.
it's not only motion capture. There are also developments on brain signal capture, and well, but it's a question if they will go popular or not. But we can only see when they are properly developed, when actually the result we can only see the result then. Oh, well, I wouldn't say it's complicated. It's just these latest years, it's just getting more and more easy. But well, it's definitely a good thing that almost everybody can now write a song or make a site or even their own program.
So I think it's a large amount of work is mainly design and user interfaces. Yeah.
And why do you think so?
Because user mainly sees just the interface and the design, and it is important to understand how the program works when you're a user, where you have to press buttons and do other options. Yeah, I think the most important part is privacy and security. So those would have to be much more than, I think, accessibility.
Why do you think so?
Because users need to know that their documents or whatever they're doing is secure, and no one else will take their information. Probably the main successfuls would be web browsers like Mozilla, Firefox, and the unsuccessful ones. I don't really know any unsuccessful.
And why do you think exactly these web browsers are the successful examples?
Because they're intuitive, and yeah, you don't need a huge experience to understand what are you doing. And yes, I don't think it's always true, because some users use old technologies, and you don't need to have up-to-date programs to do something, and yes, but I do think that newer technologies are better.
So you don't think we should stick to the older ones?
No, because new technologies give you new options and new experience about mostly everything. Both, I think, because from a developer aspect, you can't always make 100% safe and fail-proof program, though users won't always do just the things that the developer wants. Users probably will try to do something different that the program won't allow at first, but yeah, users will bypass the program. So.
Well, I think it's very important. It is the second most important thing after only the main function of the software, because it's all that the user sees and does. If for example you have two different softwares, and one of them is easy to use, another one is hard to use, but the function is the same, then of course you would choose the one that is easier to use. Well, that depends. What kind of software or IT project are you is in question. Because, well, for government uses, for example, software security for software is very important, and maybe the effectivity is not so important. But for other types of software, for example, which is used only by children, like games and something like that, user interface is the most important thing, I think.
Thank you. So, can you maybe give some real life or imaginary examples for successful and unsuccessful interaction design? Some failed interfaces or good interfaces, etc.
Well, I think one very successful interface design is the one that Apple is using for the past few years. Because before iPhone, their touch phones were not very good, and you couldn't use them in every day because it's just too fiddly with the small screens and stuff. But Apple created a simplistic interface which is not cluttered with not so useful stuff. Only the main functions remain, and it's proved to be the most popular interface design in the world. So I think that's a example of successful interface design. Yes.
And about touchscreens, do you think it's the new interface that will push out maybe the older ones like mouse and keyboard? Do you think it's a possibility?
Well, I think it already has, because of course for working you need a keyboard if you write a lot of things, but for in general usage, mobile phones and tablet PCs are becoming the everyday norm, and I think that mouse and keyboard are going away.
And do you think it's always the case with new interfaces, or there may be some exceptions?